I'm Torque Ton, and I've dug into the data on coolant flush deadlines, and the automotive industry can't even agree with itself. Some sources tell you every 10,000 miles, others say 150,000 miles. That's a 1,400% difference in recommendations. Your dealer wants it done every 30,000 miles at $150 a pop. Your neighbor's mechanic says, wait until it looks bad. Meanwhile, your owner's manual might say 100,000 miles or never. This isn't just confusing, it's financially dangerous. Follow bad advice, and you're either paying $150 every 30,000 miles when you could go 100,000, or you're facing a $4,000 engine rebuild because you waited too long. Here's what actually creates the flush deadline. And it's not what you think. The glycol base in your coolant is chemically stable. It doesn't break down. What dies is the corrosion inhibitor package, the additive cocktail that prevents your engine from eating itself from the inside. These inhibitors get consumed fighting corrosion, depleted by constant heating and cooling cycles, and broken down by air bubbles in the system. When they're gone, your cooling system becomes an expensive chemistry experiment. Aluminum components start pitting, steel rusts, and gaskets fail. The fluid might look fine, but it's become acidic battery acid circulating through your engine. 45% of sources follow the traditional mileage and time rule. 30,000 to 50,000 miles or 3 to 5 years, whichever comes first. This approach treats all coolant the same and assumes average driving conditions. The logic is simple. Inhibitor packages have predictable lifespans, so flush before they're depleted. Some recommend a conservative first change at 5 years or 50,000 miles, then more frequent 3-year intervals after that. It's the belt and suspenders approach that prioritizes engine protection over cost optimization. If you're someone who keeps cars long-term and values simplicity, this method eliminates guesswork. Now that you understand why inhibitors fail, here's where it gets technical and expensive if you get it wrong. Different coolant technologies have completely different lifespans. Inorganic additive technology, that traditional green coolant, lasts 2 years or 24,000 to 30,000 miles maximum. It uses silicates and phosphates that get consumed quickly. Organic acid technology, the orange or red stuff, lasts 5 to 10 years or 100,000 to 150,000 miles because it uses organic acids that regenerate. Hybrid oat splits the difference at 5 to 6 years. Mix them, and you get a chemical reaction that destroys both formulations immediately. 30% of sources base their recommendations purely on chemistry, not mileage. Check your owner's manual. It should specify which type your engine requires. 15% of sources say ignore the calendar and test the fluid. pH testing is the gold standard. Healthy coolant stays between 8, 5, and 10, 5 pH. Below 8, 0 means the inhibitors are failing. Below 7, 0 means your coolant has turned acidic and is actively corroding your engine. Voltage testing reveals electrolysis. When you put a multimeter's probes into your coolant, anything above 0, 3 to 0. 4 volts means electrical current is flowing through your coolant and corroding your engine from the inside. Visual inspection catches contamination. Healthy coolant is clear and colored. Murky, rusty, or muddy coolant means immediate flush. Test strips cost $20. A voltage meter costs $15. Compare that to $4,000 for a new engine. Some situations demand immediate flushes regardless of mileage or time. Any overheating event breaks down the chemical inhibitors instantly. Even if the coolant looks fine, it's been cooked and needs replacement. Mixing incompatible coolants creates a gel that clogs your system within days. When replacing water pumps, thermostats, or radiators, contaminated coolant will destroy the new parts. 10% of sources focus on these emergency scenarios because they've seen the carnage. Overheated coolant that tests fine today will fail catastrophically within months. Don't gamble with a hot engine. Here's where the industry fights itself. A controversial minority claims you can save hundreds by revitalizing acidic coolant with additives instead of doing a complete flush. They argue that supplemental coolant additives can restore pH and inhibitor levels, extending fluid life indefinitely unless the system is physically contaminated with rust and debris. The logic is compelling. If inhibitor depletion is the problem, why not just add more inhibitors? The mainstream industry rejects this approach, claiming that degraded coolant and accumulated contaminants require complete removal. This debate splits along commercial lines. Additive companies promote revitalization while flush equipment manufacturers push complete replacement. Despite all the disagreement, everyone agrees on these safety rules. Ethylene glycol coolant is deadly toxic to humans, pets, and the environment. 1 tablespoon can kill a dog, and it tastes sweet, so they drink it willingly. Professional disposal is mandatory. Distilled water is non-negotiable for mixing. Tap water contains minerals that create scale buildup and plaque in your radiator, reducing cooling efficiency and clogging passages. Stop leak products are temporary emergency fixes that risk clogging your entire system. Some ceramic or fiber formulas claim permanence, but most professionals won't guarantee them. The research revealed some unconventional approaches worth mentioning. One source suggests switching to air-cooled engines entirely to eliminate coolant maintenance. Interesting, but impractical for most vehicles. Extended chemical flushes recommend leaving mild cleaning agents in the system for 2 weeks or 300 miles instead of the standard 10. 15-minute idle, claiming better results in neglected engines. There's even a DIY head gasket repair method involving straightening warped heads in a 500-degree home oven, though professional machining remains the consensus recommendation. These outlier approaches exist, but proceed with extreme caution. Here's how to navigate this mess based on your specific situation. Know your coolant type. IAT green gets flushed every 2-3 years, OAT orange-red every 5-10 years, HOAT every 5-6 years. If you don't know your maintenance history, test the fluid or flush immediately. For high-mileage vehicles, condition-based testing makes more sense than calendar intervals. Emergency situations, overheating, mixing coolants, component replacement, require immediate flushes regardless of time or mileage. The cost of testing is always less than the cost of engine damage. When in doubt, flush early and flush often. Pay $150 now or pay $4,000 later. The math is brutal and simple. If this breakdown saved you from expensive mistakes, subscribe to Torque Ton and hit that bell so you catch every money-saving investigation I release.